Oh, that's good time. So I don't know where you dropped out, but essentially the easy story is I was just asking if you've ever had one of those moments where you were compelled by almost like a feeling within, like you need to do this. You need to look over at this thing. You need to pull this book out. And, like, I just don't know
Yeah.
if you've ever had that like moment where something just guided you almost. It was,
Yeah.
so what are your thoughts on that? What do you think that is? I mean, because it seems like that happens. That ties into me sometimes just on its own. Like, I don't know. Sometimes it's like a big spotlight is shown on the thing you need to do. And you're like, oh, okay, I'll walk through that door.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think when I was really having a bad, not just moment, I was having everything was crashing down around me. My friend bought me The Law and the Promise by Neville Goddard. And that book, I remember I couldn't sleep. It would fuel my mind so much with the success stories in that book. And they were so simple and easy to read. So that was kind of one of those moments for me where that was a big turning point. Because, I mean, that was where my whole life changed, was reading his stuff.
And it's like, I guess the magic of it, if you will, for lack of a better way to put it, was when the book was kind of just given to you at that point. Like it was like the universe is like, here, read this. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that
I had no money. I had no decent job. I had, shit in the relationship area. Everything was just a disaster.
Right.
So it came at exactly the right time. And I was saying, look, somebody help me. Someone, anyone.
Yeah, right. Please.
That was my prayer. Somebody
right.
help
Yes.
me.
I've definitely, I've been there even like recently I've shared with a couple times. It's just every once in a while, I still have those, it's, I think all of us, when we're trying to manifest the specific someone, once you're at the finish line, but by the way, we're getting together coming up in less than a month. This should be kind of a interesting gathering. So I'm curious to see what all I've manifested thus far.
Lovely.
Yeah, so that's good. It's exciting. It's nervous though too. It's been almost 5 years, so it's it's just neat to circle back around. And it's odd as a lot of things are actually happening very similar to how it was then. It's almost like I am getting a chance to do this whole thing over again.
Wow.
And it's odd how much I wasn't ready for it back then, and I'm guessing she wasn't either, probably. But yeah, it's just how much I've changed, and then here I am. And there's other factors that were happening at that time of my life 5 years ago that seem to be happening right now too. Like I said, it's like a number of weird little coincidences. I'm like, this is interesting.
Wow.
So it's exciting. I don't know.
That's
we'll see.
Cool.
Yeah,
fantastic. Can I come with spy cam?
Oh, totally. That'd be so awesome. Little Agnes GoPro, just like you everywhere, that'd be so awesome.
Just sort of lurk around in the background.
Oh my God. I'd actually love to just have my phone recording it or something, but
so you can replay yourself and make, that bit was good that I said there.
Or times where I'm like, probably should not have said it, but oh well. That wouldn't be the first time in my life.
Exactly.
Did you have anything in particular? I didn't know if I actually did send you an email with a couple of things.
No, we didn't. We didn't plan anything.
Why would we plan? Let's do something different this time. That's ridiculous.
Let's talk about something else.
Right. So how about the Dodgers? Oh, those Dodgers are playing great, right?
Well,
I mean, that's what.
Someone brought up about you mentioning licking the dashboard the other day. And they said, that's what we love about these conversations. Well, that was a moment.
Yes, you never know what might come out of my face. That's impressive. It's fun that way. It's fun.
It is. It's really good.
Now, did you have anything like, I don't know, like I've got a couple things, so I don't feel.
You go for it. Start with that. Start with that. That's cool.
Well, there was one thing I read of his, and I don't know if I want to read the entire quote of it because it's just ridiculous. It's one of his longer ones. I've got a couple other smaller quotes that might make fun little talks, but he talks about so reality may, for the sake of clarity, be likened unto a stream which is divided into two parts, the conscious and the subconscious. And I guess that's kind of what spurred my initial question when we started, talking about how you've ever been felt to just do something. But this whole quote he had about conscious and subconscious, I thought it would be interesting to kind of spend a couple minutes, like what are your takes on that? How does that maybe play out in a regular person's day when it comes to manifesting? Because you probably hear, just like I do, a lot of people that like they're trying to do everything, but then you hear a lot of the commentary within their email about how there's some self-love, and they're working on it, but it's almost like they're trying to put the cart before the horse, if you will. And I think the subconscious and conscious, I don't know, the way they work together, it's odd. We do things unconsciously and don't know why. And then there's obviously the conscious part. But Goddard's really talking about how he calls the conscious, it's personal and selective. The subconscious is impersonal and non-selective. The conscious is the realm of the effect. The subconscious is the realm of the cause. Like that, just those concepts are kind of weird ways of me of thinking about subconscious and conscious. Like he makes it sound very, he's got a masculine and feminine aspect to it. These two aspects are the male and female division of consciousness. The conscious is male. The subconscious is female.
Yeah.
So it's that whole, I think, acting, well, sending out and receiving almost. But I don't know. It was kind of deep, and I know it's like a lot to just throw at you. But his whole concept of conscious and subconscious, how is that working? The male part, is that more the doing and the receiving? Is that? Am I even close?
In simple terms, from what I see, one in myself and two in other people. The conscious stuff is all the stuff that you obviously think about, that you want, that you don't want. It's kind of, the conscious part's the easy part to see because you know and you're conscious of it. That's why it's called the conscious. But the subconscious is, people say, oh, you know, that's in my subconscious, that's why I can't do that. It's like, well, the subconscious is more the childhood stuff that's stuck in there, that's still got tentacles from back then into right now, and that's where you default to, even though you don't want to be doing something, thinking something, believing something, you default back there because of what you were taught in those early years. And you've got to then try and consciously change what the subconscious is still doing that is not serving you. If it's doing something positive, you leave it alone, obviously.
Right. But
it's the stuff that's kicking your backside, like relationships, money, work, etc. That's where usually people go, okay, well, hang on, now I need to look at this because this keeps coming up again and again and again. Keep getting this same result.
Well, see, that was my understanding of conscious and subconscious too. Like, you know, and that's where I always call it like the bubbling up or the trickling. I mean, it's like, it's almost cool when we have one of those moments where we catch ourselves basically pushing ourselves out onto someone else and seeing something weird. And it's like, oh my God, that's from my childhood. And when you bubble that up to your conscious self, it's no longer subconscious in my mind. And that's where I think we have a chance to heal.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Those aspects. But what's, I guess where I'm confused, and I don't know if this is just Goddard being Goddard, is he's talking about conscious being of like personal and selective. Like, yeah, it's intentional.
Yes.
And the subconscious being impersonal. But when he gets into the masculine, feminine, the doing, I guess, the conscious is male, the subconscious is feel, the conscious generates ideas and impresses these ideas on the subconscious. The subconscious receives ideas and gives form and expression to them. So it sounds like the subconscious is the part that's actually doing the manifesting, and the conscious is what is guiding it. Is that kind of what he's saying? I don't know. It might be the endless amounts of crack that I smoke because I'm reading Goddard. I feel like, well, I don't have a PhD. Oh, yeah, that might actually, right? Let me get my glass pipe out and oh my goodness. But yeah, I'm like reading this going, huh? Like I could read this 12 times. And
I know. It fries your circuit sometimes, Neville. And you know, there's been so many people say, oh, but he contradicts himself, or he does sometimes. Like a lot of, like Abraham Hicks does, like many.
And knowing him though, I doubt he contradicts himself. I bet it's more that we're just literally the way we're reading it, or the constant. Yeah, because he writes in I know it's in English, but I don't think this is really English. It's not British English. It's not American English. I don't know what the hell English this is. But so he's good times.
Yeah.
But, okay, so it's. I mean, do you think that Let me read this sentence again. I think it's a deep thing. I mean, if we're talking about Goddard and trying to understand this guy, because I love Hicks. Hicks is very now, very today, very
And
energy
still
though.
alive,
But she's
and the language
yeah.
is easier to understand. Yeah.
I had a buddy of mine went there. He said, "Oh, just anyway, the numbers and just what it's
Yeah.
incredible. 1,000 people in that room, $200
Yeah.
a head. It just blows
I
my
know,
mind. That's so
I know.
awesome.
That's incredible. I've seen her about 3 or 4 times.
Have
and
you?
every
Nice.
time it's just like,
She's every video, every audio. I mean, I, you know, not like I'm trying to push people. She's amazing. Like, I mean, it's obviously she's pulling something in somewhere that's, I mean, Abraham's very, very quick. It's it's just impressive. But anyway,
yeah, it is.
The conscious generates ideas and impresses these ideas on the subconscious. The subconscious receives ideas and gives form and expression to them.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think he's saying there? The conscious generates ideas and impresses these ideas on the subconscious.
Okay, well let's do an example. So
Okay.
in your conscious life, you say, okay, I want to earn $100,000 a year. Let's do something really simple.
Okay.
So there's your conscious coming up with the idea. So now you read the next bit, and we're going to work through it step by step.
Okay. The subconscious receives ideas and gives form and expression to them.
Okay, so you consciously go, I am now earning $100,000 a year. You send that to your subconscious, and
then that's the end of the sentence. So essentially the subconscious is doing the manifesting, and that's almost why you consciously get out of your way, right? Isn't that why we try to do that? So that's okay. So that was kind of why I belabored this point, was to get to this place where I think a lot of people will benefit, myself included, and you know, who knows with you, because you're on yes. But if it's why I think a lot of times when we are so heavily involved with consciously redoing the affirmation steps to create, you know, we're constantly trying to create and recreate and create and recreate and constantly doing these exercises. And then we're consciously a lot of mind chatter during the day. And I think that's why they talk about how, like, you do this process. You really do the imaginal work. You send it out there, and then you push it into your subconscious, and you're done. Like, let go of it. And your subconscious just goes and wanders and takes care of it. And then communicates back to your conscious and says, hey, tomorrow we're accidentally going to leave 7 minutes late for work. So when you get to the coffee shop, you're going to bump into so-and-so. And, you know, so I think it kind of helps explain the mechanism and why sometimes we get on our own way by all this extra mind chatter, by all this extra thinking, by all this extra conscious stuff surrounding our manifestation.
And I think